Let go fast, do nothing by halves. Who else wants to know how we can let go of things we no longer want to feel or experience really, really quickly and fast and creatively, as well as how we deal with absolutes and choose what we are going to do and how we're going to do it. I guess we like to categorize ourselves as human beings. Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here, by the way. Welcome to day 1,479 of What You Up To Now. Documenting the journey as I transition and as I build different businesses, both offline and online. Over 48 years of building businesses offline, as well as a quarter century of that simultaneously in corporate America, working for actually some of the most amazing companies in the world as a quality director, quality vice president in the field of quality, which as I defined it, which is one of the cool things that we don't know that we can do, but you absolutely can, is I define my own roles and jobs in corporate America and created what I wanted to and learned what I wanted to from those organizations. And by being involved in the quality function in my definition touched every other department, every other function in the business, and allowed me the opportunity to understand and go deep in processes and systems and how these different functions work, how they work together, etc. So it was a really fun place for me to play for a quarter century. And then I decided once my kids were born and things that I wanted more freedom, more flexibility. And so I just jumped out of corporate America and stayed in my own businesses. I also fit better into my own businesses than I do into the corporate, how things should be, how you should dress, how you should act, how you should talk. I'll never forget my first one of my first involvements with corporate human resources was me getting talked to because I used the term guys. I grew up in Wisconsin in the Midwest, and we always said, and we always say, you guys. And so I had to retrain myself to stop saying, hey, you guys, let's do this, because human resources didn't think that was okay. Since I was working with a team of men and women, they informed me we were no longer allowed to use you guys because it could be offensive. Yeah, I guess that was my first touch of political correctness back in the day. And of course, it was easy. All I did was say you all because I'd lived in Texas for a few years. So I just substituted you all for you guys. And that seemed perfectly acceptable. And it probably was a better choice of terminology anyway, because a lot of women don't like to be called guys. Hey, guys, right? So we have to remember our audience always. So we've been talking about in the annual challenge. Our annual challenge this year is the BU 365-day challenge. And we're doing one thing every day to improve ourselves. And instead of it just being an open-ended, I'm just going to randomly pick something about life every day and share it, I decided I would break it into segments based on a life framework that I use. And that's one I learned decades ago, probably 4 decades ago or more, from Jim Rohn, Tony Robbins, all of the big names, Napoleon Hill, etc., all the big gurus back in the day. And there was a framework, a life framework with 7 different areas and aspects of our life. Why do we want to use different areas and aspects of our life? To kind of categorize and compartmentalize some of the things that we want to consider as we're thinking about our life and planning our life. If we don't plan our life, it will get planned for us or it will happen by default. And it's never as fun to live our life by default as it is to say, hey, this is what I want, and then go and create that, because we are amazing creative beings. So our topic today was favorite letting go strategies. I know that we all have thoughts and feelings and emotions and beliefs that we experience, but we don't really want to experience them on a regular basis. And one that I had a long time ago was not good enough, feeling not good enough. And so I took a day off of my business and I said, okay, I'm going to come up with all kinds of fun, creative, strategic ways of letting go of this belief not good enough. So I shared, I don't know, probably 8, 10 of those in our annual challenge today. I also have a video of that I have to go look up if anyone asks. I said I would find it. I have several videos that I did and shot of that day of just fun ways of letting go of not good enough. And why? Because it felt good to me, and I wanted to be able to go back and revisit that feeling if not good enough ever reared its ugly head. Guess what? Not good enough still rears its ugly head every once in a while, right? When I came online from offline, I found myself feeling weird and comparing myself to other people. I'd stopped doing that offline, But online, all of a sudden, I was watching what other people were doing, and it was like in your face. And social media is huge that way. And it's people showing us their highlight reels. It's not how their real life is. It's like watching a sitcom on television. And they're only showing you the part of the story that's important. It's like reading a novel or a book. They only show you the part of the story that's pertinent to the story that they're telling. You don't see everything. So we need to remember that whenever we're watching or engaging in social media. Yeah, this is what they want you to see for some reason, but we don't necessarily always understand the reason. Heck, people that are posting things don't always even understand the reason they're posting things. So how on earth would we be expected to? But I found myself comparing myself to other people that had totally different journeys and stories than I do. And it was then that I pulled out those creative strategies and said, okay, what's some creative ways I can get rid of this comparing myself to others? So our action item today is to come up with a creative way. Think of something you don't want to feel or experience anymore a lot, and it's still going to pop up, right? But think of something and then come up with just a creative way of letting it go. And I'm sure that everybody out there can come up with more creative ways than I did, but I found that it really helped me to just say, okay, I'll pull out not good enough when I need to, when it's important, but it's not going to be something that pops into my head on a frequent basis. Our idiom for Supersize Your Business today was do nothing by halves. And it's another one of those idioms where there's not a specific where it came from. It's a proverb and related to a proverb. Nothing has been around since the 1600s or about the 1600s, probably before then. But nothing, of course, means insignificant. It's an insignificant thing, or it's of no consequence, or it just doesn't matter. So why would we do nothing, something inconsequential, by halves? Why would we not, I guess would be my question. Why would we not take the things that aren't important, aren't urgent, and make sure they get done, but maybe we're not the ones that do them? Or the things that we have to do, why would we have to do everything with absolute perfection and excellence? We don't. And I shared, I don't, and the things we don't love are the things that we can choose to do that for. And so this expression, this idiom, for me, triggered the saying that is out there right now. How we do anything is how we do everything. And I found my brain feeding me up evidence of how I do different things is how I do everything. Now, that statement, like any other statement, is true and false depending on what evidence we want to provide for it. It's like everything is a lie that we tell ourselves. Not everything, but a lot of things are just lies we tell ourselves to make ourselves feel better about things. So I was a little disturbed when I realized I'm just like everybody else. We all do this. So we want to be careful what we're picking and choosing to think about and believe in. So I guess when it comes to my businesses, I'm a big business person. I love business. When it comes to businesses and growing a business and supersizing a business, I think if you're going to do that, that's one of those things you have to go all in on and be excellent and do the best you can on the key areas that are critical to that business. It doesn't have to be how you do everything in that business. Whenever we're speaking in absolutes, I think we're telling a lie. We're telling ourselves a lie because none of us do everything or anything all of the time. It's not humanly possible. Nobody thinks positively all of the time. Even the most positive people that I know and the positive people in the world have doubts and fears and negative thoughts and negative emotions that pop up into their, maybe for very short periods of time, but they have those. Anybody that says they've never felt any pain, that's not true. They just experience it differently. So as I'm learning more about and focusing more in on language and communication and what things mean, I'm paying more attention to the things that are absolutes, the shoulda, coulda, woulda, anything, everything, nothing, nobody, everybody. Anytime we're using absolutes, it kind of flags it in the back of my mind to say, okay, really, is that true? Does nobody ever do this? Does everybody think this way? Does anybody believe this? Does everybody believe this? And then I question it. I'm like, really? How true is that? How factual is that? Is that really what's going on? Or is that just something that people are showing us because they want us to believe? There's so many people with one of the things about the internet and social media. There's so many people pretending to be something that they're not. It's mind-boggling. This whole influencer generation is just ridiculous. And it's going to be interesting. I think one of the most interesting things about artificial intelligence and AI that's coming down the pipe is they're saying that brands will be represented by AI in the future. And so brands will be created by artificial intelligence, scraping everything and creating a conglomeration of what the people that are attracted to that brand consider most attractive, and that will become the face of the brand. So I think Betty Crocker, back in the day when they made up Betty Crocker, that reminds me of this will take brands to a whole different level. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. All right. I have a gazillion things to do today. I'm working on a couple of projects that are going to take big blocks of my time. So if I can help you in any way, ask. Otherwise, think about today, something you want to let go of. Creatively find a way to let go of it. It only takes like under a minute to do any of these things, but it has a huge impact on us. And then I would be curious, what do you think of do nothing by halves, and how we do anything is how we do everything? I'd love to know your thoughts on that. See if I'm all wet, or if I think differently than other people do. I'm sure I do. We all think differently than each other. All right. Have an awesome day. And I'll, of course, be with you tomorrow just to let you know what's going on. Bye.